Alrighty, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the JP8 report, episode 332. Excuse me. I'm dying here. Alright, welcome to the JP8 report. Excuse the cough. I am working on it with some good old hot chocolate in my 82nd Airborne mug. All right, and I'm going to go to urgent care after this because I can't afford to let this cold get out of hand. But thanks for tuning in today for the JP8 report. Before we get started, like always, please follow the podcast. If you get a chance, click that follow button and click that like button, all right? Give me a thumbs up like. And let's get engaged in the chat if you can. I'll start it off. I'm going to do an American flag for everybody. Poof. Here we go. We got Padre, retired Rob in there. He's in the chat room to help monitor for us. But he said he didn't feel good last night, so he may already be crashed back out. I don't know. Which is all right. I mean, he's a good friend of mine. So, with that being said, breaking news just a few minutes ago. Trish McLaughlin, she's the deputy secretary of Homeland Security. She is going to make her resignation final next week. She was planning to leave as of early December last year, but she stayed on for a few more months. I know, I was just looking at the headlines. You never believe the headlines you read in the news, no matter if it's conservative or it's liberal, because they always try to fake you out. And because it said it was, amid staff shakeup at DHS, Tricia McLaughlin is leaving. No, she was planning on leaving in the first place. So let's not make a mountain out of a molehill. So, but she's leaving. Okay, wish her good luck, right? America 250 moment. I have a letter from the famous John Jay to Edward Nicole and Alexander McDougall. They were written on February 1776. It says, your letter, Mr. Avery, certificate and Mr. Troop's information gave me much satisfaction. You always shared your good wishes, and I have often lamented putting it out of my power to be useful to you. If you are not decidingly opinion and stability and permanence in the present resolutions, you may yet be a respectful and useful member of society. But remember that old habits are not as easily put off as clothes, and therefore I fancy you should rather consider the business of reformation as began than completed. If religion was not out of fashion, I will tell you, watch and pray that you should again be led into temptation, and maybe have a way to escape and be able to bear it. And so would be so kind to deliver a letter to Mr. Troop. Will give you to Colonel McDougall and command any services I can with propriety render you. As to any little improprieties in your conduct towards me, do as I often done, forget them. Oh man, I'm sorry. Forget them. Forget that too. And at least be assured that you cannot be more effectually apologize for them by enabling me by a proper course of conduct to be not merely a well-wisher but a friend to you. Adieu, yours and Yours only, John J. And then the other one is to Alexander McDougall. Hold on just a second here. Okay, good, better. I like looking at myself in the monitor. It gives me reassurance that I'm actually on air. This letter will be delivered to you by Mr. Edward Nicole. An early acquaintance with him at college, an opinion of his abilities, and a respect for the memory of his father unite in actuating me to consult his interests and promote his welfare. It can be no secret to you that his behavior for many years past has been reprehensible. He has several times attempted reformation but never succeeded, unless at present Mr. Nicole will show you a certificate from Mr. Avery in his favor. I think it merits respect and induces me to hope Mr. Nicole had the length began to make a use of good sense, with Providence has blessed him. He is desirous of a commission in one of our regiments to be raised in New York. I am persuaded no augmentees will be necessary to prevail upon you to procure him some commission. With though no great consequence may for the present serve to put him in a state of probation, should he stand with the trial, it will be for some encourage his friends to recommend and advance him with great confidence. I won't press you to attend to this matter because I know Mr. Nickel will find a better advocate in your benevolence and sensibility. I am, sir, your friend and very humbly servant, John J. Oh, look at that. The recommendation for a commission in the Continental Army, which is really good. Okay. All right. Feels a little bit better here so far. First of all, our next attempt is the Dalmatian Texas burgers. They're smash burgers and hot dogs made right here in Copperas Cove, Texas. All their ingredients are fresh and homemade, including the buns. And look, they're open Tuesday through Saturdays, 11 to 2 and 5:30 to 7. And additionally on Monday for lunch also from 11 to 2. Unless all times are provisional, because they do sell out a lot. So you got to make sure. And they're located on the west side of Copperas Cove on 190 behind Bush's Chicken. And I recommend the Armadillo, which is in the upper left-hand corner. It's got jalapeno and raspberry jam on it. All right, back here. And then media. All right, so here we go. JP8 report. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go over Miss Guthrie. There's only been like 2 updates I saw from this morning when I did the morning brief. And then they would be, I'm going to put her picture up here with the hoodlum on the right that we can't figure out who he is. I'm going to go to Fox News from where I'm just refreshing her. Now, the other day, someone found a blue shirt outside the house of Miss Guthrie, and people were like, whose is it? Well, Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos told Fox News on Tuesday that a blue shirt was seen laying along the walkway leading up to Nancy Guthrie's home had been left by federal law enforcement. Nano said the bright blue shirt was used by U.S. Border Patrol K-9 team. The shirt was left behind and then retrieved. The shirt was seen on video and recorded by Fox News on February 3rd, 2 days into the search for Miss Guthrie. And the shirt was not too far from a trail of blood on the doorsteps. All right. And then the other thing was there is a Crime Stoppers in Milwaukee, Wisconsin that There was a Crime Stoppers in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, that offered a separate $100,000 reward for her being found. That brings, if you combine the two, it brings it up to $200,000. All right. And we'll go back. There we go. Get my mouse way over here. Where is my mouse? There we go. And I just want to see. And then a vehicle that was towed, that Range Rover that was towed Friday night, that they were like, oh yeah, look, we found it, we did. An insurance company instructed law enforcement to tow the vehicle. That's why it was towed. It was nothing else. All right. All right. So I'm going to read this one. You'll get a kick out of this. A vehicle parked outside of a home in Catalina Foothills that was raided by the FBI on Friday was towed away by an insurance company, not law enforcement, on Monday. A neighbor told Fox News Digital that the vehicle, which appeared to have significant front-end damage, was towed at the request of State Farm after it was totaled in a crash last week. The neighbor added that the car's owner is pissed about the Friday night raid, and his mother is upset because she doesn't know what's going on, but everybody wants Nancy Guthrie found. All right. Wow, what a way. The whole world knows your vehicle got towed away. And this hot chocolate actually works, all right? All right, so next thing we're going to go to is the SAVE Act. Nope, not yet. Okay, so Anderson Cooper is leaving 60 Minutes after 20 years. Some people are like insinuating that he got fired by Miss Barry Weiss, but they just couldn't come to an agreement with his contract, and he decided he's going to retire to handle family business. Because you do know he is, who is his mom? Gloria Vanderbilt, I think it is. So he's really rich anyway. But yeah, he's leaving 60 Minutes after 20 years being there. And then Jesse Jackson passed away this morning, 84 years old. And I'm just going to expand on this part about him. How do I say it? You got to be nice because he passed away. You got to be. You got to pray for his family because you know what they're going. I know what they're going through. So you got to be nice to the family. I will say the two things that I really respect him for is that he highly encouraged and showed well, three things. He helped Martin Luther King a lot. Two, that he highly encouraged black people to get engaged politically. And three, he got a lot of black people to get out and start voting. Okay, those are the three things I respect him the most about. And then pray for his family. All right, we'll take it there. Okay, but he passed away after a very, very long life, and he was 84 years old. Okay, remember his family, right? Okay, so back to the other political stuff. Yep, Jesse Jackson passes at 84. Yep. Thanks a lot, Rob. Hope you're doing better. My chest is killing me. I'm coughing a lot. I'm sucking down cough drops and drinking hot chocolate. All right. Senate Republicans now have enough support within our conference to pass the Trump-backed voter ID legislation, but a major hurdle remains. Safeguarding the Save America Act has secured the backing of 50 Senate Republicans following a pressure campaign by White House and a cohort of Senate conservatives over the past several weeks. Senator Mike Lee of Utah has led the charge in the upper chamber, ramping up his efforts last week as the bill moved forward through the House. Lee told Fox News that he was ecstatic that he has made progress in shoring up support for the legislation and hoped the Senate would move as quickly as possible to consider it. I would love to see us turn it in next week, perhaps the day after the State of the Union. That is a very good recommendation. I said so this morning because it would be really good if the president was able to get to offer a few statements during the State of the Union to get people to more support the Save America Act, and then Wednesday the Senate vote on it. Well, they're going to have to do a filibuster and then vote on it. Okay. The multifaceted campaign on the social media was left behind closed doors in the Senate proved successful, drawing support from Senate Majority Leader John Thune and several others. Susan Collins of Maine became the 50th senator to back it. That gives Republicans the internal support they need to advance the legislation. But they still have the talking filibuster. Before leaving Washington, D.C. for a week-long break last week, Lee and several other supporters, including Ron Johnson and Rick Scott, pitched the voter ID proposal and potential pathways to pass it. We had some good senators stand up and say, no, we got this. We got to fight for this. I'm with them. We need to fight for this. Those are some of the statements that are coming out. Still, the effort faces heavy resistance to Senate Democrats who are nearly unified in their opposition. With 84% of the populace of the United States, with 71 or 72% of Democrats that fully support photo ID, they're still opposing this. The only potential outlier is John Fetterman, who has pushed back against the Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer's characterization of the bill as Jim Crow 2.0, but he has not said whether he would ultimately support the Save America Act. Despite that possibility, Schumer and most of his caucus plan to block the legislation. That's all because Donald Trump supports it. Okay, we will not let this pass in the Senate. We are fighting it tooth and nail. And then so these are the Republicans that are not supporting it. Lisa Murkowski, she's a hard no. And then Mitch McConnell and Tom Tillis both have not signed on as co-sponsors yet. I guess they're holding their powder dry until time to come up and vote. But I have a feeling both of them will actually vote for it. But yeah, they're just holding their powder dry. One option to bypass Democrat opposition would be nuking the filibuster and the 60-vote threshold, which is called a cloture vote. A move some congressional Republicans argue are effectively become a zombie filibuster, since legislation can be blocked simply by withholding votes rather than holding the floor. Excuse me, man. Despite previous pressure, the President, Donald Trump, to eliminate the filibuster, the move does not have the votes among Republicans to succeed, a point Thune underscored last week. There aren't There aren't anywhere close to the votes, not even close to nuking the filibuster. That leaves a return to the standing or talking filibuster, a precursor to today's procedural hurdle. Under that approach, Senate Democrats would be required to hold the floor and publicly debate the opposition, as senators did decades before the modern filibuster became standard practice. So when you have Robert's Rule of Order, you have a motion, you have a second, you open the debate, the person made the motion gives the first argument, and then the person that made the second gives the second argument. Then you have opposition, then for, opposition, then for, and then according to Senate rules, each senator can respond up to twice. So there's 47 members of the Democrats, so they could that would be 94 debate attempts on their side, and the Republicans have the same amount on their side if they want. When they're done, that's when you vote. All right. So we'll see where that one goes, but it would be really interesting to see what happens next week with the SAVE Act. In the long run, it's going to win. All right. AOC, I'd say AOC's out of her league. She's been in Munich, Germany for forever, right? Sandy Cortez is being widely, that's what I call her, is being mocked for one critic called absolute train wreck weekend full of gaffes while in Germany for the Munich Security Conference. One of the leading voices of the Democrat Party and rumored to be 2028 presidential frontrunner, Sandy Cortez was ripped over several comments she made this weekend, including one where she attempted to mock the Secretary of State Marco Rubio for saying that U.S. cowboy culture originated in Spain. My favorite part when he said American cowboys came from Spain, Ocasio-Cortez said, laughing, "I believe Mexicans and descendants of the Africans enslaved people would like to have a word about that." Matt Whitlock, a GOP strategist, calls Cortez's showing an absolute wreck and called her out for talking Nazis, Mexico, and Spain, and a word salad heard around the world on Taiwan. She doesn't know anything about history. Ted Cruz said that. Cowboys came through Mexico from Spain. Okay, there would be no Mexico without Spain. We all know that. And Venezuela is north of the equator, not the south of the equator. I don't understand why AOC is trying to rewrite this. It just makes her look bad. David Harris, the author on anti-Semitism, wrote that AOC isn't just glamorous. She's dangerous because she has the support of a large group of ignoramuses. Okay, I get it. Harris took particular issue with Cortez's comment about Israel perpetrating a genocide in Gaza. Harris wrote, "For her on German soil to declare Israel guilty of genocide is just beyond obscene and should be disqualifying her from political ambitions." And then Outkick founder Clay Travis compared Cortez's answer about U.S. policy in Taiwan, a viral beauty pageant answer from 207 clipping. Who gave the better answer for a foreign policy question, AOC or Miss South Carolina? Wow. Governor Gretchen Whitmer, a term-limited governor of the Great Lakes-bound state, was also criticized. She asked what victory she would like for Ukraine. Whitmer said Ortiz said that Cortez and U.S. Ambassador Matthew Whitaker, who were sitting at the table with her on the panels, were much more steeped in foreign policy than a governor is. Ukraine's independence, keeping her landmass, and having the support of all of the allies, I think, is the goal. And Ocasio-Cortez also asked, would and should the U.S. actually commit U.S. troops to defend Taiwan if China were to move? And the four-term lawmaker appeared to stall for nearly 20 seconds before offering that the U.S. should try to avoid reaching a clash with China over Taiwan. Man, she's just in over her head. And like Eric Daugherty said, she self-destructed. And he just keeps going and going. But I cannot believe she said that Venezuela was south of the equator. Alrighty. Oh, man. Alright, so, and then Ted Cruz calls Newsome historically illiterate and posts a clown emoji as the governor fires back. Senator Ted Cruz blasted California Governor Gavin Newsom on social media, posting a clown emoji after the Golden State governor claimed that the lawmaker from the Lone Star State had called him illiterate. Cruz was actually referring to Newsom as historically illiterate, but Newsom, who is dyslexic, fired back, writing, Ted Cruz is calling a dyslexic person illiterate and is a new low even for him. He called him historically illiterate, which is very true. Cruz pointed out that he had not claimed that the governor is unable to read. I did not say you couldn't read, you clown. I said you were historically illiterate because you apparently have no idea Eisenhower federalized the National Guard to stop Democratic governors from defying federal law. Specifically on September 23rd, 1957, President Eisenhower issued Executive Order 10730, federalizing the Arkansas National Guard and ordering U.S. Army troops from the 101st to Little Rock, Arkansas. This action broke the blockade of Democrat Governor Oval Phelps, allowing Little Rock 9 to desegregate Central High School. See, Republicans did all this, all right? So, yeah, Gavin Newsom, he's like, yeah, okay, I give up on him. He ain't going to be a president anyway. And then here in my home district of Congressional District 31 in Central Texas, if you did not know, we have early voting that starts today. We have 9 people in our primary for CD 31, from John Carter all the way down the ballot to this guy, ShamWow. He does the shammy thing. Yeah, he's like 61 years old. He's from Israel, and he's running for Congress against Raymond Hamden, Abraham Garapati, Steve Dow, Will Abel. There's a whole bunch of them. Okay, we have 9 of them. I can't think of them all right now. And I interviewed all but 5 of them, even including Valencia Gomez, the girl that's going around making all kinds of crazy things. Vince Offer Schlomley, most commonly known to the masses as the ShamWow guy, is running for Congress in Texas as an anti-establishment Republican vowing to clean the swamp. If elected, Shlomi, who is beloved for his high-energy, late-night ShamWow and slap-chop commercials, says he will destroy wokeism, quipping on his campaign website, "This woke mess won't clean itself." In a recent ad, Shlomi, 61, knocked 84-year-old incumbent Republican John Carter's cognitive ability to as worse than Biden, saying, "Vote for me, a guy that's not half dead." Despite President Trump's endorsement for Carter for re-election, Shomley believes that he would be a better ally in Congress for the president. He suggested Carter is no longer up for the job, liking his continued presence in the House of Representatives for his former elder abuse. He is not a fighter, Shomley added. it is not that he's too old, but his capacity is lacking, and Trump doesn't know that. After years in the media world, Schlomley has decided to break into politics after seeing the decline of the civilization. If y'all agree with him running for Congress, I'm talking about the Schlomley guy. Give me a American flag, or just say you don't, you do or you don't like him running for Congress. I mean, I know John Carter's old. I'm not even supporting him in the primary. I'm supporting Raymond Hamden. But yeah, this guy's out for notoriety. It looks like after years, I'm seeing people not standing up for things, but not thinking about God. Kind of afraid that they're kind of intimidated, walking on eggshells. He explained, "I feel that we need to fight a little bit stronger, or on the common sense American value ideas. I want to bring homelessness back to America." He also framed his candidacy of standing up to the GOP establishment, something he believes has already been put a target on his back. "I believe that someone in the GOP deleted his nickname from the ballot to reduce his name recognition. Candidates using nicknames on the ballot are very common, but nicknames tied to name brands or products are rare." And just so he had Vince, Offer, ShamWow, with too many characters to go across. And the more characters you have in your ballot, the more expensive the ballot costs, and the more it costs per ballot. Okay, that's why they did that. All right. So, if you want to watch his progress on March 3rd, when the primary date is, when they start actually putting ballot numbers out at 7 p.m. Central, Tuesday, March 3rd. He's in Texas, Congressional District 31. All right? All right. Next. Supreme Court. We're still pending a couple cases from the Supreme Court, aren't we? So, we're at 32 minutes. All right. Feeling all right. I'm going to get a cough drop and just keep drinking this hot chocolate, which is more like cold chocolate now. I need to give my wife for Christmas from our daughter, got one of those thermal mugs you charge up. It'll keep your drink hot for like hours. Maybe I need to do that. Get myself an 82nd Airborne mug. That's one of them you can heat up and stuff. That'd be pretty cool. All right. So, meanwhile, back in the ranch. Election integrity groups press the Supreme Court to require ballots by Election Day, which I fully agree with. The conservative-leaning groups, including the Honest Elections Project and Center for Election Confidence, filed an amicus brief on Tuesday supporting the Republican National Committee's challenge to Mississippi's postmark deadline. They argue that federal law establishing a single election day requires ballots to be in election officials' hands by the close of polls. The case could determine whether similar postmark-based deadlines in 14 states remain valid ahead of the 2026 midterms. Supporters of the RNC's position say a ruling affirming the lower court could establish a clear standard when ballots must be received, though curtailing acceptance of late arriving ballots could not guarantee that elections officials won't still be tabulating ballots in close late races beyond Election Day. Counting ballots that are received after Election Day unnecessarily damages the public trust in election outcomes, delayed results, and violates the law. Jason Sneed, he's with Honest Elections Project. Oral arguments in the case Watson versus RNC are set for March 23rd, and the decision is expected by the summer. The case arose from a lawsuit brought by the RNC challenging Mississippi's practice of counting mail-in ballots up to 5 business days after Election Day if postmarked by that same day. The RNC chose to bring the case in the Republican-friendly U.S. Circular Court of Appeals for the Fifth Circuit, which ruled in the RNC's favor, but found that federal law trumps the state deadline and required the ballots to be received by Election Day. We got breaking news. Hold on. Sheriff reveals result of glove test. Okay. Hey, before I read any more of this, I'm going to go see what this is, okay? Hold on. Okay, this is breaking news about the Guthrie case. Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos told Fox News chief correspondent Jonathan Hurt in an interview on Tuesday that the unknown male DNA profile on the glove found 2 miles from the home of Nancy Guthrie has been run through the FBI DNA database and did not result in any hits. We're hopeful that we're always getting closer, but the news now, I think, is that we heard this morning that, of course, DNA on the glove that was found 2 miles away was submitted in SCOTUS, and I just heard SCOTUS had no hits. And the FBI did confirm the same thing. All right? So, bad news, right? Man, I'm sorry about that. I was hoping they would have had a hit or something. All right. Excuse me. All right. So, March 23rd is the oral arguments, and they expect to have a decision within 2 months of the oral arguments. So we'll see. I honestly believe that all ballots should be received by close of business on Election Day. That's me, because there's too much left out there for people to postmark this stuff after the polls close and get a postmark put on it, and then the votes count even though the polls are already closed. All right? All right, so what are we looking at? We're at 12:37. I'm not going to get through all this. I thought I just read that one. I want to go over this part. Okay. I put the title of the podcast is Biden's Quiet Amnesty. All right, and that it comes from an article from the New York Post from Andrew Arthur, called Biden's Quiet Amnesty for Nearly 1 Million Illegal Immigrants. All right, so keep my pages right. President Joe Biden not only allowed 6 to 10 million illegal aliens to walk across the border during his term, he also granted a quiet amnesty to nearly 1 million. This should infuriate everybody. We're only learning this now as the Department of Justice revealed Biden officials improperly terminated, dismissed, or closed that many cases before the nation's immigration tribunals. The tool for this deception was the DOJ's Executive Office for Immigrant Review, called EOR, pronounced like Winnie the Pooh's sad donkey friend, which oversees deportation cases. Under Department of Homeland Security, Alejandro Mayorkas, I was hoping I would never mention that guy's name again. The Biden administration used EOR to manipulate removal hearings, tanking pending cases in the name of prosecutorial discretion. House Judiciary Chairman Jim Jordan tracked this scam, and in October 2024, his staff issued a report revealing that more than 700,000 illegal aliens have had their cases dismissed, terminated, or administratively closed under Biden, which allows these aliens to stay in the country indefinitely without facing immigration consequences. The report, released 12 days before the 2024 election, went largely ignored even as early votes were being cast, especially when you have 2 months to cast early votes, which should be unconstitutional. EOR has now issued updated statistics for that report and revealed Biden allowed nearly 1 million illegal immigrants to remain indefinitely without facing immigration consequences. No press releases accompanied the release of those numbers. They simply appeared in a newly published chart deep in the minutiae of EOR's official stats. Dismissals and terminations of pending cases are straightforward. Immigration officers identified removable aliens and filed charges against them, but instead of litigating those cases to a just conclusion, DHS lawyers just dropped them. Although it is described as a docket management tool used to temporarily pause removal proceedings, new EOR figures show that the average period of a case that had been administratively closed in immigration court is more than 17 years, while the average time a case is temporarily closed before EOR is more than 29 years, or 10,752 days. Those are averages, so some of those cases were closed since many of the readers, before many of the readers were born. The Biden administration knew the congressional Democrats would pay a hefty price if they tried legalizing huge swaths of unauthorized populations allowed in the country. It's always political, isn't it? They manipulated the immigration courts to spur the quiet amnesty for nearly 1 million removable aliens. That isn't to say these 1 million people weren't undeportable, but it would require ICE to find each of them, serve them with charging documents, and start the court cases from scratch. The last administration left an immigration disaster for Border Czar Tom Homan to clear up, the actual scope of which is just becoming clear. It's not a pretty picture. So instead of allowing Mayorkas to do his job, they closed the cases, the 1 million illegal aliens, that allowed them to stay in our country without any legal recourse on them whatsoever. So we can't even remove them from the United States because they have a permanent residency card. What do y'all think about that? We're at 12:43. We're doing pretty good here. And then everybody heard about what Lee Zelden and the president did last week, right? They reversed some 600 environmental regulations, part of the endangerment finding from President Obama in 2009, which decimated business inside the United States. For 16 years, the so-called endangerment finding has been a weapon of choice for climate change zealots in Washington, created by the Obama EPA in 2009. It justified trillions of dollars in regulations, restricted which cars could be manufactured, and drove up the cost of living for all families. To barely get by in the United States, it costs approximately $130,000 a year. That's just way too much. The average Joe out there can't afford that. But we just made everything so good for nothing expensive in our country. On Thursday, um, this was printed off yesterday. On Thursday, standing alongside President Trump in the White House, I was proud to announce that the endangerment finding has been eliminated, and with it, all federal greenhouse gas emission standards for vehicles and engines that follow. This is the single largest deregulatory action in U.S. history and will save American taxpayers over $1.3 trillion. The action will result in an average savings of more than $2,400 per vehicle by eliminating regulatory compliance costs. We are making it easier for families to buy the car they actually want, improving affordability and helping Americans reach jobs, grow small businesses, and fully participate in the transportation and logistics systems that power the U.S. economy. I can tell you for one thing, our car cost. We bought a 2023 Traverse brand new, and I think it cost us $53,000. That's before interest. And now you get the right interest off on a brand new car, only if it's made in the United States. And now they don't have that auto start and stop thing that's going to be not included in the new vehicles. Yeah, it's going to be a lot more cheaper than $2,400. I heard that how much Americans hate the feature. Oh, the automatic start stop feature has been eliminated. The system shuts off the engine at red lights, drains batteries faster, and delivers no meaningful environmental benefits. It's nothing more than a climate participation trophy, a regulatory incentive that lets automakers claim green credits on paper without delivering. So what came about that was when, being in the Army, I've been stationed in Europe, and they had a law in the books of many countries in Europe, especially Germany. If you came to a stoplight, and the stoplight was, if you were going to be stopped more than 30 seconds, you had to turn your engine off until the light turns green, and then that's when you started your engine again. All right, that's where that came from. But it don't work. Automakers should never be forced to adopt or be rewarded with technologies Americans don't want. The Trump EPA will choose consumer choice over climate posturing every time. Let me be clear why we took this action. American people demanded it, and the law required it, and the Obama administration stretched the Clean Air Act beyond recognition to claim that carbon dioxide from tailpipes combined with 5 other gases, some of which vehicles don't even admit constituted air pollution, that contributed to global climate change and endangered public species and welfare. For decades, the EPA understood, you know what? What do human beings breathe? We breathe in oxygen, we exhale carbon dioxide, right? So are there too many human beings out there? Not enough trees. They're just making this stuff up. That's to my belief. I'm glad it's gone. Is there anything else in there besides that? Nope. Okay. I might talk about this one tomorrow. If there's a chance, depending on my cough, that I may not do the morning brief in the morning, but we'll see. Okay. All right. So we talked about that. We talked about that. So we almost got everything done. We're at 12:49. All right. So I'm gonna do a couple of things on the Texas scorecard. Our Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, who's running for the Senate, is suing municipal, it's called a MUD, over a scheme to support Epic City development. That's East Plano Islamic Center. That's been all over the news, especially if you live in Collin County. Attorney General Ken Paxton has filed a lawsuit against the Double R Municipal Utility District number 2A in Hunt and Collin counties. Hunt is just to the east of Collin County. And individuals claiming to serve on its board alleging unlawful actions intended to skirt state oversight and benefit a controversial North Texas development tied to the East Plano Islamic Center. According to Paxton's office, the lawsuit was filed after evidence surfaced. Man, I keep getting all kinds of news. Held a highly unusual special meeting on September 12th, just last year, scheduled at noon at a remote location marked only by GPS coordinates. At that meeting, the existing board members allegedly resigned and were immediately replaced by new individuals, and the newly formed board then approved an expansion of the district's boundaries. Okay, so that doesn't seem right. That should violate the Texas Open Meetings Act. Paxton's office further, the Attorney General contends that this maneuver was designed to help Epic City developers evade state review by expanding an existing district rather than going through the legal process of forming a new one. Paxton's office further alleges that some of the new board members do not meet the legal qualifications required to hold office within a municipal utility district. When state regulators sought documentation verifying their eligibility, Double R Bud delayed producing the records, and those eventually were provided reportedly confirmed the individuals were unqualified to exercise taxing authority or to serve as directors. Because you must be elected. I will not allow individuals to cheat the system in advance of illegal development and destroy beautiful Texas land. Paxton said in a statement announcing the suit, if Epic City's developers operatives are attempting to illegally take over local governmental structures in North Texas, my office will do everything in our power to stop the scheme. All right. Good job, Mr. Attorney General. And then the next one is we have a school choice here in Texas. And it went into effect February 4th, I believe, was the first day that you could actually apply for assistance through Texas School Choice. Open to 100,000 applications. And as of the day, they already surpassed it. All right. This is another article from the Texas Scorecard. Less than 2 weeks after applications opened for Texas New School Choice Pro, more than 100,000 students have already applied for the Education Freedom Accounts. Wow. It was for $1 billion of program assistance in the first year. February 4th was the first day. And March 17th is supposed to be the deadline, which they already made that. All right. I'm sorry, man. Okay, hold on. I'm trying not to max out my mic here. And then the next one is illegal aliens in Texas continue to commit child sex crimes. 10 of the Texas' most wanted criminal illegal aliens include 8 wanted for sex crimes against children. I should have put this one on the slide so y'all could see. Texans are continuing to see a steady stream of illegal aliens charged with sexually abusing children and mirroring a nationwide crime trend. The X site illegal alien crimes has documented the arrest of thousands of suspects who have immigration detainers or holds by ICE, including dozens of Texas detainees charged with sex crimes against minors. And detainers are used by ICE to apprehend dangerous, deportable non-citizens who have been arrested by another law enforcement agency. So if you go to the Texas scorecard, you can read this one, but it lists so far more than 20 people in Texas that's already been arrested. And let's see, Mexican. Okay, it doesn't say who the next one. Let's see. Dallas County, Houston, Tom Green County, which is San Angelo, Denton County, Mexican National in San Angelo. Here's another one from Maverick County. I have no idea where I think Maverick County is down toward Rio Grande. Dallas County, Williamson County, Wilco, that's what they call it. Was arrested in Williamson County for sexual assault of a child. Lorazo, Chiroy, Tacom. There's Travis County, which is Austin, another Dallas County, Denton County, Dallas County, Collin County, and Ector County, which I think Ector County is down in Rio Grande also. Oh, there's even more. Wow. Harris County, Dallas County, Galveston County. Wow. Okay. And then Ken Paxton is investigating more school districts for allowing school districts to allow kids to come out and protest for anti-ICE walkouts. And one of them is Dallas Independent School District. And another is Austin Independent School District, Northeast Independent, San Antonio, and Manor, which is, believe it or not, that was wild to see Manor. All right. Lots of stuff going on. All right, so I got those so far. And then I'm going to sign off in just a second. I know I'm at an hour, but I've got a whole lot of stuff going on. If you know, early voting is going on right now through the 27th of February. And then we have our Lincoln Reagan dinner in Gatesville on the... Here, I'll go ahead and put that one up. We have our Lincoln Reagan dinner on the 21st with Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick. All right. They it's $60 a ticket or $100 for a couple. You can get your tickets by the QR code that's on the graph right now, or on my show notes. You will see a link at the very bottom, and that takes you to the site it's the Anadot site where you can buy your tickets. All right, we have a live auction there. Really cool items. There's two really, really cool items that's going to be on there. Come on and see it. And it's in Gatesville at the Texas Station Event Center. We still have some tickets available. Buy them now, 6 p.m. in Gatesville. And then the other thing I want to show you is on our ballot here in Texas, we have 10 propositions. And the propositions were brought up from the State Republican Executive Committee, and they came up with these to put on the ballot. I like every single one of them but the first one, because we need some sort of mechanism in place before we eliminate property taxes that can fund local and county governments, okay? Because community colleges need funding, cities do, counties do, water districts need it, but you got to have some type of funding in place, okay? But I will vote no on one and yes on the rest of them. All right. So I'll go back to me. Oh man. Okay. So don't forget the primary is March 3rd, and the runoff for the primary, if no one gets 50% plus one, is the 26th of May is when the runoff is. Okay. So with that being said, I think I'm almost exactly at an hour, which would be right about now. We made it. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna go to urgent care in just a minute. So if I'm not feeling good in the morning or I need my rest, I'll just do the JP8 report tomorrow. All right, and then not even do the morning brief tomorrow morning. We'll see. We'll see about it. Okay. I like y'all tuning in. I really appreciate it. We went over a lot of stuff today. Uh, it's disappointing hearing that news about that glove not coming back with a positive DNA match on it. You know, I was talking to my wife last night about what if someone just threw you know how people just throw trash out the windows, and what if something like that just got thrown out? They said they found 13 other gloves like that. So what if someone just threw trash out the window, and they got a DNA match now? Yeah, we got you for littering. Uh, well, he shouldn't have been doing that. So let's hope that the helicopter that's tracking her pacemaker can actually find her pacemaker. All right. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, watch the news, or you can go back to this morning's brief, because I believe I was talking about it this morning on the morning brief. All right. So if you want to find me, these are my social media sites on X, Facebook, ScrewTube, and True Social. And there's my email address at jp8report@gmail.com. All right. So other than that, I hope everyone has a great day. Just pray for me. I get better really fast. Thank y'all very much for tuning in today. Everyone that was helped participate, I appreciate it. Give me some likes, and please follow the podcast. All right, and then also, if you feel sorry for me enough and you're watching this, there's right beside the JP8 report is a little green spot that says tip. If you want to leave me a tip, make me feel better, leave me a tip. I appreciate that. Okay, and it's part of the Rumble wallet. So y'all have a great day, and I will talk to y'all later. I'm gonna get ready to go see this doctor. All right, this is James Pierce with the JP8 report. I'll catch you on the flip side. I'm out.